Hello, this is Jeff Nager with BikerNet Studio, and today we're at Kendell Johnson Customs, and we're speaking with Kendell Johnson. Kendell, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Kendell, you're known for performance, and when we walked in, I was thinking that we'd see a lot of Pro Street. We have, but we're also seeing a lot of baggers. Baggers are a big thing now.
Yeah, baggers is probably about 80% of our business, doing big motors and exhaust.
Well, this is your personal ride, and this bike has got a really interesting motor history. Can you talk about what you've done with that?
Yeah, it's a set of S&S cases, Revolution cylinders, and some new prototype heads, D&D exhaust. It's making about 170 at the rear wheel, and I've done as much as 1,100 miles in a weekend on it. Still gets 35, 36 miles a gallon, so it's a pretty nice piece.
So how do you get such great gas mileage and good performance? Is that just black magic?
A lot of it's in the tuning, making sure it's got an optimum fuel curve everywhere. But I guess that's what keeps our customers coming back on these things. They can ride them as well as run them.
Well, tell us about the other bike that you're working on. I understand that came together, and you put some really unique pieces on that, the Chevy Turquoise bike.
Yeah, it was a bike we did. It was an 87 Evo bike that we did for Hot Bike magazine, or not Hot Bike, I'm sorry, American Bagger magazine. And we took an 87 Evo bike, put a twin cam engine and tranny primary on it, air ride suspension, kind of updated the bike up to what all the new bikes are. The customers had the bike and been riding it, seems to be really pleased with it. It's about 140 at the rear wheel, and he rides it everywhere, so I guess it's working out good for him.
So let's talk about different levels of performance. If a guy came in with a late model bagger and he wanted to get the biggest bang for the buck from a performance standpoint, what would you give him out of the box?
Most of our base kit started about 106 cubic inch. That's pistons, cylinders. We hand port the cylinder heads, camshafts, push rods, and a D&D exhaust. That makes around 115 to 118 at the rear wheel. And then we've got 114s, 124s, 131s, and 135s. So it's it's just according to how far they want to go with it. The good thing is the D&D pipe works on all of our performance packages for the bagger, and seems to do what we needed to do.
Now, you've mentioned D&D a few times. Is that your go-to pipe?
Yeah, when we're trying to make horsepower, those pipes seem to scavenge the exhaust system better than anything we've ran. We run the Boarzillas on most of them. Some of the smaller cubic inch, sometimes we'll order the Fat Cats, but the Boarzilla is probably our pipe of choice.
Now, I noticed on your personal ride, you're making quite the fashion statement with rust. Is that a new design element for Kendell Johnson Customs?
I don't know about a design element. It was kind of pressed, and I had the new engine done. I wanted to go to we were going to the Outer Banks for Bike Week. The pipe came in. We had to fabricate the head flanges for these prototype heads, so I got it welded up. We wanted to go to the beach, so I jumped on it that night, rode to the beach, and I've been riding it ever since. I guess this winter we'll probably ceramic coat it and make it look a little bit more finished, but it seems to be quite a fashion statement. Everybody walks up to check the bike out whenever I pull up somewhere.
Boarzilla and rust, only at Kendell Johnson Customs. Talk a little bit about the things that you utilize internal to the engines themselves. What kind of components, what companies you partner with there?
We most of the stuff we do is either with S&S Cycle and Revolution Performance. Between the two of those guys, it seems like we can put together a package that's very reliable, get very much long-term mileage, and the stuff now is everything's got to be cost-effective for these guys. But we've kind of hit on some packages that work real well because they've been kind of lining up to get in here to get them done.
Now, in walking into your shop, I noticed that on the wall there's a lot of Pro Street stuff, and it looks really great. But the Pro Street stuff doesn't get ridden as much as the baggers.
No, we were doing a ton of Pro Street stuff, and I've actually ridden those all across the country. But these baggers, the older I get, they're getting way more comfortable, a lot more enticing than what the custom stuff was.
Yeah, and you can take a lot more with you, and still the performance is right up there.
Yeah, we've got baggers now that literally drag the back fender when you shift to second gear. I mean, they're just straight up vertical, so they're just about as fun to ride as the Pro Street stuff, and you can pack all your stuff on and go off for the weekend.
Now, if a guy was coming in here and wanted to build a monster motor, what would you build him?
Well, I usually interview the customer and find out how he likes to ride, what RPMs, whether he rides 1 up, 2 up. I mean, it just kind of depends on the customer, but like I say, our base kit's around 115 horsepower, and it's just as far as he wants to go from there. The bigger stuff is reliable, but it's kind of like a racing engine. You have to be a little bit more rider, used to a big inch engine to gear down and do some of the things in traffic and on long hills, being able to drop back a gear, because to raise the compression up on these big motors to really make the power, you have to, if you just lug it on at 1,500 RPMs, it's not going to be real responsive. You have to be able to drop back a gear. Some guys understand, some guys don't. So, like I say, just basically a 15, 20-minute interview with the customer, and then we decide, mutually what kind of package he's looking for.
Now, you're located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and is most of your customers come from here, this area, or do you have a national customer base?
Pretty much a national customer base. We just had a guy haul his bike in from Seattle, Washington, which is about the other farthest corner from the state. We did an engine for him. He rode it to Daytona and back to break the bike in, and then put it back in his trailer and took off back to Washington. It's probably the 3rd engine I've done for the guy, so it's pretty much all over the country.
So what do people look for when they come to you? What's the magic that they're looking for when they get an engine from you?
I think one of the largest selling points we have is we have big cubic inch stuff that makes great power, great torque, and it's very rider friendly, and the longevity is great. I mean, honestly, these big inch engines now will live as long as a Harley motor, or if not longer. So, I mean, I think that's been kind of one of the keys to our success.
Talk about rideability in an engine. Where is the torque and the horsepower being made if you're making a engine that's rideable?
Well, it's there again. It's where the customer rides. We can do stuff that starts coming on really strong at 1,800. Some of the bigger stuff doesn't come on until about 3,200. So wherever the customer rides the most of his time, or whether he pulls the trailer or whether he's got a passenger, I mean, all that's got to come into effect when we're setting up cubic inch and compression.
Now, you'd mentioned that you use a lot of the D&D products, so you must be happy with the horsepower curves and the torque curves. Is there anything else that you like about that particular pipe?
I think they sound great, because even the 2-in-1, a lot of guys used to not like 2-in-1s. They've got a great sound, and a lot of times the straight exhaust on the big cubic inch motors made more power on the top end. These pipes really make more just all the way across the board than most anything we've ran.
And how's the fit and finish?
Fit and finish is great, and we very, very seldom have any kind of problems, and anytime we have had any kind of glitch, they've been right on top of it to take care of it and get it back to us, so it's been great.
So do you think that D&D will take the lead and tip the hat to you and come out with the Rust model shortly?
I don't know. I hope they kind of leave this one Rust model exclusive to me for the time being.
All right, well, that's the 411 of Kendell Johnson Customs. But before we go, we need to find out how people can get a hold of you, whether telephone or on the web.
www.kendelljohnsoncustoms.com as far as our eBay, our website. We've got an eBay store attached to that. Then we also have it's 336-748-3833 is the phone number here in Winston-Salem.
All right, well, we appreciate your time, and we'll see you down the road.
Good talking to you.